My name is Steve. Welcome to my shop. And this is my contribution to the hashtag ToolFest 2021 video series. This is a simple tool, and it's one that I have been wanting to make for over 50 years. When I was in high school, it was my intention to become an industrial arts teacher. And so as a senior in high school, I was taking Metals 1 because I had to take all the college prep courses first. But by the time I was a senior, I also had quite a few years of experience in the family automotive machine shop. So when it comes to some of the basic operations that the rest of the class, which were primarily freshmen, were doing, the teacher had me working on some of his special pet projects instead. And so I ended up never getting to make a riveting hammer. And that was one of the first tools that was made on the milling machine. Mr. Pete has done this recently, and a couple of other people did it using a shaper. And my version is going to be made on my small round column mill. I got the plans from Joe Hildreth of My Heap fame. He maintains a library of Mr. Pete's projects on his website called My Heap, and I will try and leave a link to that in the description of this video. So I've got myself a piece of 3/4 inch 4140 steel that I'm going to make this riveting hammer out of. And so let's get started. Here's a printout of the drawing that was on the website, and it calls for 4 1/8 inches long, and it shows it being 5/8 stock. I got 3/4 stock because I want to be able to mill it down to the 5/8 and put a decent finish on it. And it's my intention at some point to heat treat this. So let's mark off my piece of steel and we'll take it over to the bandsaw. Got the stock set up on a pair of parallels. I've got it overhanging the right side of the vise so that I can square off that end. And I'm just going to take a light cut. This is about a 1-inch diameter. About 1.25 inch diameter shell mill to high-speed steel. Let's see what kind of a finish I get out of it. going to take a light cut, just a cleanup cut on this side, and then when I turn it over I'll take it down to size. Not a great finish. I will take another light cut going back the other direction. Not a terrible finish. Now I'm going to square off this end. Okay, I'm going to turn it over, cut the width down to 5/8, and then I'll keep rotating it. I'll bring you back when I'm done. Cutting it down to final length. Take a few more thousandths off of it. It's almost there. I'll leave about 10 thousandths full in order to be able to grind the end off and finish it. About 15 thousandths high. I'm going to leave it at that. Okay, this should be the final cut. Okay, I'm I'm just a little over 625, which is where I want to be. So I got a little bit of room to sand and put a nice finish on it. Next feature I'm going to be machining onto the blank is a chamfer that will extend for 1 inch from the face of the hammer, and it will be the face of the chamfer will be about 1/8 of an inch, 1/16 inch deep on each side. And once I get the chamfer tool, I have the chamfer tool in there. Once I get that set up, I have an end stop here, and I'll set it to do this back edge so that I'm not climb milling. If I were to do the front edge, I'd be climb milling. But I want to do this back edge, and then once I get that set, I'll set my DRO for the length of it, and then I'll just flip the piece over 90 degrees each time. So let's get started. I'm going to zero my DRO there. So now, each time I turn it over, I'll just stop at 0. The next feature that I'm going to be machining while I've got it set up is this slot for the handle, and I already have it marked off. It's 1 inch and 11/16 from the finished end, and I have it centered. We'll go over to the mill where I have a 3/8 drill already set up. I'm going to drill the center with a 3/8 drill, and then I'm going to take my 3/8 end mill and nibble it off in each direction to make up the total width. I took the parallels out from underneath the head. Okay, I got the 3/8 hole. I'll take the 3/8 drill out and put the 3/8 end mill in and bring you back. I'm set up with a 3/8 solid carbide end mill. I've got it centered on the hole, and I've got to go 1/8 of an inch in both directions. So I'll nibble away at it. Better 20 inch. Now go 1/8 inch the other direction. Alright, that's 1/8 inch in the other direction. Okay, that's it. The next and final feature is to cut the ends, these tapers, and I have scored them on my piece of material, and I'll show you how I'm going to set it up. I've got my piece scored where I want to cut it to, so I'm going to lay a parallel in there. It's my thin parallel, and I will take and by eye run that parallel to the scribed line, and that gives me plenty of room above the vise. And now I will mill down to the scribe, and I will stop. I've got a line across here which is my stop point. I've changed over to a 3/4 inch end mill, so I'm going to be taking off a little bit more material, and that shell mill really wasn't liking it too well, so I know that this works just fine. Okay, I'm going to turn it over and do the same thing on the other side. Okay, I'm going to deburr it, clean it up a little bit, and meet you back over at the bench. Well, after over 50 years, I finally got my riveting hammer built. I'm not going to fit the handle to it yet. I'm going to wait until I've heat treated it before I do that. And I may even run it through the surface grinder. I left a few extra thousandths on it for that. We'll see. That may be getting a little carried away. I did polish it off on the belt sander though. So I hope you've enjoyed this little video. This is my entry to Toolfest 2021. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.